Hello once again, all my fellow patriots and you filthy leftist stalkers out there. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Angela Box. You're watching Angela's Soapbox, where I always say what you are thinking. And I wasn't even going to do a video this week, but I'm fired up today. So if you haven't already, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the share button, like this video, comment on it, tell your friends, and make sure to definitely tell your leftist friends, because man, they really don't like me, which is a badge of honor. So send them my way and let them scream at me. It's fun. Anyway, every week on my channel, I like to dedicate a sea turtle killing plastic straw to a filthy leftist. And this week, I'm giving the straw, I'm giving a straw to two people, but it really encompasses so many more. I'm giving the straw this week to Pocahontas and Kneepads Kamala Harris. They're back in the news, so hooray for that. And more on why in a minute. But as a general rule, the straw this week goes to the media, which it went to last week, and let's get into why. So, the media once again, and last week I wrote an article about how the media won't let hydroxychloroquine be great, and it's even worse this week. I will link that down below. I didn't write anything this week because I'm like, there's literally nothing else to say about anything right now, except the ongoing coronavirus. Anyway, last week I wrote this article, and I really was starting to notice how the media was going out of its way to poo-poo the promise of this drug, to say that Trump was being reckless about promoting it. And, the week before, we know that they accused Trump of telling a couple to feed each other with aquarium cleaner and killing them. That was Trump's fault, too. But it really got me thinking that the media they're so very corrupt. And they do get their marching orders from people like George Soros, Open Society, Media Matters, the Democrat Party at large. And, of course, the Democrat Party at large's obsession with getting Trump It never stops. It never stops. And it doesn't stop with the media either. But to think that they are actually downplaying the positivity about hydroxychloroquine because in their mind it would help Trump. Well, there's no question it would help Trump because Trump is the one who's been saying from day one, hey, this seems to be working. Anecdotally, we're getting lots of great feedback about hydroxychloroquine mixed with Z-Pak and sometimes mixed with zinc. And it was like, oh, it's so irresponsible of you not to talk about the side effects. And he said, look, the side effects are basically coming from the antibiotics that are given, and that will affect people with heart conditions and things like that. But, they are just slamming him left and right, saying, oh, it is just the height of irresponsibility to give false hope to people. This has now been going on for about a month. We've heard of this drug for about a month now, and it is showing amazing promise. And I think Trump is going to try and get some to Boris Johnson over in the UK. And hopefully, God, prayers with Boris Johnson. We cannot lose him. And hopefully that will really shine a spotlight to the world that, yeah, this does work. And this crisis is going to quickly come to an end. Sorry, Deep State. I know you want this to last a lot longer. Like Fauci, Mr. Deep State over there. And don't let anyone kid you that he's not. Dr. Fauci talking about, oh, we can't open the economy until we have a vaccine. Well, riddle me this, Dr. Fauci. Do we have a vaccine for HIV yet? Nope. We didn't shut the economy for that. Do we have a vaccine for every strain of flu there is? Nope. And we didn't shut down the economy for that. So I think that coupled with China's malfeasance, which, again, you can't convince me otherwise that they didn't either accidentally release this thing from the lab or did it on purpose, because there are many, many parts of China that weren't affected at all. It just affected the West. Isn't that interesting? But anyway, whether it's China pushing that it's Trump's fault that this is happening, to the media pushing that it's, Trump is giving false hope about hydroxychloroquine, it's really disgusting how they have all been over backwards to panic Americans, to scare people, to say we have to shut down the world until we absolutely can find a vaccine for this. Not a therapeutic, not a cure, but a vaccine. I don't think Trump's going to go for it. So enter in, cue the race card that has now entered into this debate or about this pandemic. Cue the race card. Here it is. I saw on Twitter a couple days ago, there was this idiotic New York Times writer, and she said, this COVID-19 is just disproportionately affecting the African American community. As in, AKA this virus is racist and Trump doesn't care. Because Trump doesn't care how many black people it kills because Trump hates all black people. Isn't that correct? The same narrative they always do. And today, and it's why Elizabeth Warren and Kneepads Harris get the, Pocahontas and Kneepads get the plastic straw, is they're out saying now that they want a breakdown every day of how many black, Hispanic, transgender, whatever, all the racial breakdown of anyone who dies from COVID-19. And it's one thing to say, okay, at the end of this or periodically we'll update that. But people who are, in New York or in these epicenters that are actually dealing with dying people, we're not talking about in most of the country. Sorry, we're not, because no one's really dropping dead in most of the country. But in those high-level epicenters, Detroit and Louisiana, let's get the data to eventually and maybe talk about why that might be, which I'll get to in a minute. But no, they want it immediately. And if you don't give them the data immediately, well, then you're a racist. So, here's the dirty little secret. We know that this virus primarily attacks people 70 plus or people with underlying health conditions. Now, this is going to be a unpopular opinion, and those millennials want it. This is a trigger warning, okay? I'm going to say something that might hurt you might get an owie over this. The black community has high levels of obesity, heart disease, high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, and other pre-existing conditions that COVID-19 tends to like for whatever reason. That's not me saying it, that's science. And so the reason you're seeing higher numbers that are hitting the black community is probably because of the underlying health conditions. It's not because the doctors aren't treating them. It's not because they're not getting testing. It's not because they're not getting the medicine that they need. That's BS. That's complete garbage. It's because the community as a whole has some underlying health conditions that, if we were being honest and we lived in an honest world instead of a world where we have to make sure to stroke everyone's feelings and not body shame anybody and fat shame anybody 24 hours a day and act like Lizzo, of all people, is a great role model for young girls. She's about 150 to 200 pounds overweight, walking around saying, I'm awesome, I'm Lizzo, blah, blah, blah. And she is like, the target audience for this disease, unless you're 70 or plus. Anyway, I digress. But if we were living in an honest world, we could talk about these things. And this is why it's so important that, when liberals talk about single payer and they want to have Medicare for all, not only is it not feasible financially, it's not fair to the rest of us who actually take care of ourselves and exercise, drink water, don't drink too much, don't smoke, don't do drugs, eat a healthy diet. It's not fair to the rest of us to say, well, I'm just going to eat like a total pig and a slob, and you're going to have to take care of me when I, need my breathing treatments and need my heart medication. I just think it's such a crock of what to say that the rest of us should have to take care of you because you didn't take care of yourself. I'm just saying. And no, I'm not blaming people for getting COVID-19. That's not what this is about. This is about saying that the Democrats trying to inject the race card once again, and we had to deal with it for, a good 20 minutes yesterday on the press conference. The African American community is highly affected by this. And of course, Pence and Fauci and Trump have to say, yes, we're very concerned about this, but no one wants to talk about why. So I'm interested to see if some of our leaders are going to say, can we have some real talk here? And maybe as a community, the black community can say, why don't we make a focus of getting healthy and not saying we're being body shamed or fat shamed when people are like, hey, you're obese here. This might be contributing to why you're getting sick. I'm just saying, I know that's a radical thought. I mean, God forbid, right? Another thing that I wanted to hit on, and my mind is just going in a million directions right now. A lot of people have been talking about how, last week I actually thought they're really going to shoehorn Andrew Cuomo in the for the Democrat nomination, and they still might, because Joe Biden is literally senile, and the fact that they're still acting like that everything's okay is a little scary to me. I think at this point the Democrat Party realizes he's going to be their sacrificial lamb for 2020, and they're going to regroup and find their bench for 2024. And I'm going to put two people on the radar, which I'm sure you've already thought of. Andrew Cuomo and Gavin Newsom. They're going to be interesting contenders because during this crisis, now we all know that they are left-wing lunatics. They are as left-wing as the rest of them. They are completely insane. However, during this crisis, they've shown an ability to work with Trump, an ability to have some pragmatism injected in their rhetoric, which is a nice thing to see. And what they're going to do is how they're trying to position themselves for 2024, which I think this is what they're doing. The rest of the Democratic Party is so reflexively Trump-hating that these two guys are going, okay, how am I going to differentiate myself? Because obviously, whoever comes out in 2024 is still going to be running against Trump, you know, in a way, sort of like what we were doing when we were running against the Obama record. But, you know, again, good luck to you guys, because I have a feeling you're not going to have much to run on when Trump's finished with you. But anyway, they have to differentiate themselves somehow. So I think this is a smart move by them to not be reflexively Trump-hating and to find ways to work with him when they can. So watch out for those two lunatic leftists who come slinking by for 2024. And, you know, finally, I just want to light a candle and take a swig of Diet Coke because, as you know, the Bernie Bros today. Let's have a moment of silence for the Bernie Bros, because once again, their champion, their savior, has dropped out of the race. And this time, he can't thank the DNC for screwing him over and Hillary Clinton for rigging the election against him. He can thank that evil Donald Trump and COVID-19. So, Bernie, I know you're going to wholeheartedly endorse Joe Biden. Joe Biden, who doesn't know what day of the week it is. I think it's Wednesday today, am I correct? Someone had a funny meme that there are no days of the week anymore. It's today, yesterday, tomorrow, this day, that day, whatever. Joe Biden, I guarantee he doesn't realize it's Wednesday today. Bless him. But Bernie Sanders says, I'm going to send all my Bernie Bros and all my money and all my delegates to Joe Biden so I can make sure to wrap this thing up. Oh, wait, he already wrapped it up, so... It's going to be a very interesting Democrat National Convention. I think I almost want to say they're going to be sitting Shiva for 7 days during this thing, because that's what it's going to be. It is going to be like a funeral, because they know that Joe Biden has zero chance. They're going to sacrifice him and try and come back in 2024. But good luck to y'all. I don't think. Maybe have a platform that isn't insane. I don't know. Try that. Try that. Instead of open borders and high taxes and free crap for people who sit on their butts all day, try with something that Trump is doing. Like, let's talk about how corrupt China is. Let's close the borders. Let's stop illegal immigration. Let's get voter ID passed. Oh, by the way, before I leave, I'm so glad I thought of this. Voter ID. Trump has been talking about this for a little bit. Thank God. And, you know, the Democrats, as in unison, because they're all little puppets and they get their talking points at 4 a.m. We all know this. They're all, we have to have mail-in ballots. It's not going to be back to normal by November, which, of course, Dr. Fauci, Mr. Deep State, is trying to perpetuate. We have to have mail-in ballots. And Trump is like, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. You can request an absentee ballot if you choose, but we're not doing a national mail-in election. That's not happening. But good try, guys. Good try. They're going to do anything. I mean, when this event is over, it's going to be over soon. I know that hydroxychloroquine is going to work. It's going to be the therapeutic that people say it is, and it's going to basically end this crisis, and we're going to be able to reopen America. And those of us who I know already have had it, which I'm fairly certain I have the antibodies because I have an immune system of steel, and I'm sure I got it at some point. But we can reopen America, get back to normal, and stop torture the left as they deserve to be tortured in their faces, not just virtually. And another great thing that's going to happen because of all this is we're going to move all of our stuff out of China, and we're going to defund that. We're going to stop funding the World Health Organization, who lied to us about saying, oh, closing the borders, you shouldn't do that. That's unnecessary. And they also were giving us tests that had 85% false positives. So the WHO, the deep state WHO, along with our deep staters in America and deep staters around the world, are trying to prolong this as much as possible. So you just remember that when the next person comes along who tries to panic you about something, the next person comes along with a model that's now completely debunked and completely wrong, just like their stupid global warming models that have never been right ever. These models weren't right either. And I think it's time to inject a little common sense. And I hope President Trump is looking at ways to reopen America, hashtag reopen America, as soon as humanly possible. So until next time, and I certainly hope that I have something else to write about soon. I don't know. I'm fresh out of ideas because this thing has just sucked all the oxygen out of the world. And until that happens, I don't know. We'll see if I want to write next week or not. But I will link last week's article so you can share it and read it and enjoy it. And until next week, my fellow patriots, keep kicking butt and don't drop dead. Bye.